I have read hundreds of personal statements, and I just wanted to highlight three of the themes that I see cropping up all the time in successful applications. These two essays got their candidates into Harvard Business School, but the strengths of these essays and the advice I'm going to give you applies to any business school or indeed any application you're making in general. And the advice boils down to this: inject personality. Don't be afraid to be original and different. Talk about responsibility when you stepped up in a leadership role, and try to demonstrate exceptionality, how you've done things that few other people have done. The more you can demonstrate and leverage these attributes, the better the chance you have of getting into Harvard or indeed any MBA, and as I said, any application. Very similar advice for writing CVs or resumes too. We're going to compare and contrast these two successful applications to Harvard, and I've highlighted in yellow instances where I feel the candidate has really demonstrated great personality. They haven't been afraid to be vulnerable. In blue, or you could say teal, turquoise, I've highlighted how they frame language in a way that accentuates their leadership, their responsibility. And finally, in green, I've highlighted things that they've done, things that they've talked about, which few other people would have done. Now, don't be intimidated. I know these essays look amazing, but I'm sure if you dig deep into your personal story, your personal narrative, you also can think of things that you've done that show personality, responsibility, and exceptionality. And there's always a chance if you can't think of something exceptional at this very moment, you might still have a few months left in which to do that thing that's exceptional. And I'm sure you guys have. So let's get started looking at the applications. They both begin at the top, and let's highlight the moments where they're unexpectedly personal. You might have thought you can't tell stories this personal, but look on the right here. Sharing a makeshift cake with strangers at an airport on their birthday, meeting with their partner in the mountains, being breathless at the elevation, dashing from an anniversary dinner to catch an impromptu flight to London for a kickoff. You might think, this is an essay for Harvard, why are you talking about these things? But it shows personality, and that's really important. It shows you can be vulnerable, that you can communicate. And the candidate on the left. I have maintained the household for my divorced father since the age of 9, including speaking on his behalf during job interviews, income taxes, negotiating apartment lease terms, very personal. For example, when I was 12 years old, my father traded in his car. You might think, why is he talking about trading in a car? This person's being vulnerable, telling you their life story. I used the Kelly Blue Book and recent sales postings of similar vehicles in the local newspaper to determine a comparable trade-in value. It's an anecdote. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering. Catching a flight isn't world-beating, but it shows off the person's personality, and that's what counts. Next, look at the language that these candidates use to highlight that they're leaders. There's very little passive language emphasizing taking instructions, participating, attending. The verbs are much more about leading. Look on the left, in blue. I led the identification of potential North American and Australian buyers. Or on the right, I have become a leader in this space, crafting our response to clients' questions for dozens of discussions, pursuits, and conferences. I have succeeded at developing compelling thought leadership. Let's find another example. I designed. I founded. These words accentuate leadership. After developing, look at the active nature of the verbs. I presented. I managed a support team. I motivated a team. These are the words of leaders, and this is what Harvard Business School wants. Yes, it's going to shape your leadership attributes, but it wants you to come to the school already with some sort of leadership experience. Going back to personality, look at the story on the right. Look at the vulnerability. I am the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors, the daughter of a failed small business owner who reinvented himself at 50. The epitome of strength and adaptability, my grandparents came to America after being liberated from the camps. Or this is extremely personal as it gets. The time came for me to embrace the strength and adaptability of my forefathers this past November when my mother suffered a sudden and fatal heart attack. But that brings us on to the green elements, where I feel the person has done something that few other people would be able to claim they've done. The same week that my mother passed, I was offered a role directly supporting a human capital partner in building a new practice grounded in thought leadership that I had helped develop in the future of workspace. Or how about the candidate on the left? This person founded a non-profit organization featuring the game of chess, that's original, that's exceptional, to provide public school students with extracurricular opportunities that I never had. Through this program, I intend to inspire urban youths to utilize critical thinking and problem-solving skills acquired through playing chess as tools for a lifetime of success and achievement. Notice something here if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed about what these people have done. I intend to inspire urban youths. So maybe this club, let's be honest, might not be fully set up and running. Or maybe it started, helped a few children, but hasn't yet expanded much. It's not the complete package. With only 5 years work experience on average, they're not expecting you to have cured cancer or something. So yes, be exceptional. Talk about the times you've done things that few other people would have done, but don't intimidate yourself or put yourself down or say that you'll never be as good as these people, because that's not true. Going back to the language of responsibility, look, this person set the strategy. They took on an advanced role, not any role. They could have just said a boring word like an interesting role, an impactful role. No, an advanced role, leadership. Or, as a first-generation college graduate, my passion for literacy and education access has steered me to become a leader in my community as a founding board member of a certain company and a volunteer high school mentor. You're probably noticing another theme I didn't mention. I could have included this, which is charity or philanthropy. Very often for Harvard, there are themes of volunteering, helping out people less privileged. In fact, almost always. Now, I'm not going to sit here and advocate for you to become volunteers just to get into Harvard. Obviously, it's incredible to help people and a privilege to help people, regardless of where it gets you. But that is a common theme for these kind of essays. Going back to exceptionality, this person's vision is to become an eminent leading strategist on transitioning Fortune 500s to the future of work and to be a board member of innovative education NPOs. It's a clear vision for the future. And that's an important thing to have. I'd say that's my final bit of advice. The honest truth is, a lot of these schools want their stats to look good in terms of the future of their candidates. They want to see people having successful careers directly after completing the Harvard MBA or any MBA. So if you can demonstrate a clear vision of where you want to go and the roadmap for getting there, for example, by naming a specific role, as this person on the right has done, it makes it more believable that you're going to achieve that success and be an amazing alumni for that business school. Of course, there are other themes I could have picked out, but these are the three main ones that I always see in successful applications to these ultra elite business schools. If you found this video helpful in any way, please do let me know. Based on the feedback, I may decide to do further such videos. Because honestly, I have seen hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands at this point, of these applications. Have a wonderful day and good luck in your application.